Right, so as usual, can we start with you? So far this season, a couple of good races and a couple of not so good. What's
It's of course, I mean, definitely Kai's. We had quite good performance overall. I think quite a good start season. Unfortunately, we had really had some bad luck, and for the strategy as well, sometimes not really going well. In the end, it's not, let's say, up until now, for my season, it's not really great start. I had a really good start, but in the end, we have to work, and especially I think we have to work on long run.
Yesterday, Fernando talked about drivers having more respect for one another. Do you think that's the case when overtaking, principally? That's what it was about? Do you think that's the case, that drivers should have more respect for one another, leave them more space?
To me?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. But it's always difficult to say about that for me.
You're quite an aggressive overtaker.
Yeah, but for me, I'm doing quite normal. I mean, it's not something special. I'm just doing my job, and if I have chance, always I have to do. But maybe it looks aggressive, but I never crash with anyone. I mean, I never crash, and I stop the car. I always maybe some contact, but it's always car is okay. So it means maybe it looks aggressive, but it's not aggressive in fact.
And of course, you have been on the receiving end as well, as we remember from Spa last year.
Spa last year, where? It was Luis, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that was just accident, I mean, we didn't expect both had contact because it was no point. I mean, just I didn't expect Luis just come back, and I was trying to stay on my line, and it was just sudden, we cannot avoid that. But yeah, I mean, that's something special. It's not really racing accident, and it's not something like aggressive stuff for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nico, on paper, it looks as though you've been beaten by your teammates so far this year. How are you feeling about it?
Well, the first four races have been quite tough. To be honest, I would have liked to take more than 2 points out of the first four races, but I think we've been quite unfortunate in some races, at least in Melbourne, where we had a first corner incident where there was very little I could do, and then a clutch failure, an issue in Bahrain. So, these are two races where we potentially could have finished in the points. But I'm looking forward. I'm betting in well with the team. I think the team is doing a good job with putting everything together. Now, if we get a bit more luck on our side, I think it should be good.
How do you feel about team development? So is the developments coming at a reasonable flow as far as you're concerned?
Yes, definitely. I think, we bring some new parts, just like probably every other team here. So we have to wait and see where the new parts put us. But obviously, we're hoping that is a step forward. I think it is a step forward, but how big a step it is, we'll see in the next 2 days.
Okay, thanks very much. Pedro, we obviously see a very new team, just recently gone to new premises, a lot of new staff, that sort of thing. What sort of role do you see yourself playing in the development of Hispania Racing Team?
Well, as you've said, everything is new, and we are establishing ourselves, restructuring the team, we are growing, but I'm not playing any other role or any different role that any other race driver would. Really, it's I'm part of the team. I'm a race driver. I'm experienced. If they need my advice in anything, I am there. But I'm not playing any special role other than driving as fast as I can and giving good feedback about the car.
You've spent so long with McLaren. Are you not trying to bring it up? Are you not trying to put some of those influences on the team itself?
Gradually, I will. And that's the aim, and that's why I'm here for as well. But so far, I think that the team has been extremely busy trying to move into our new premises in Madrid, establish a structure, a basement, as I say. And after that, we will grow gradually. And then it's when I think my input will be more if possible, beneficial. But so far it's been just the objective has been clear. We have to establish ourselves. We have to put the grounds for building a higher, more floors on top of us. But so far I've been very discreet and very, I think, not in a very important position.
And where do you hope the team will be at the end of the year?
I have no idea really. I mean, we are improving race by race. We have made the car a lot quicker. Don't forget that on the first Grand Prix we did not qualify, and since then we've slowly been gradually closing the gap to pole position, and that's what we have to aim for. Race by race, closing the gap, making sure that our car is every race a little bit quicker than the previous Grand Prix, and after that, at the end of the year, we will see. We don't have to set ourselves any targets, just other than making the team more competitive race by race.
Okay, thanks very much. Kimi, you were plainly a little frustrated that you could have won at Bahrain but didn't. Is that a true appraisal of Bahrain, your attitude?
Yeah, I think once you get so close, we're not happy with the second. I mean, if you're 20 seconds behind, then it doesn't really matter. But we had a chance, so could use it. So it's a bit disappointing, but at least for the team, it was a good weekend. So.
You've been a two-time winner here, from pole position both times. Do you feel it's possible here? You've said we will be winners at some stage.
Yeah, the rules are different, so you don't have to be in a pole to win now. So we try. I don't know how it will go. It's very difficult to say before the weekend starts. Always the teams are very close. So if everything goes smoothly, I think we can be up there. But small difficulties in some areas, and you're suddenly much further back. So we try to do everything right and then see what happens.
You didn't test in Mugello because apparently the team hadn't brought major modifications. Have they brought modifications that will at least see you maintain where you were at the last race?
Yeah, we should have some new parts, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. Thank you very much. Fernando, another winner in 2006. How did you feel the Ferrari was during testing? Did you feel it was a lot different?
Not really. I think we didn't have any big improvements in the car. So what we tested were different setups and different things that we missed from winter test that has been quite difficult for us with many problems in the car and not many laps. So the Mugello test was more to complete what we had left from winter. But in terms of improvements, we have minimum changes in the car, so the car felt the same.
So did that setup research, as it were, make you feel more comfortable with the car, more competitive?
Well, we'll see. Obviously, we had some ideas in terms of setup and some different possibilities that we were not introducing in the first 4 races because we didn't have the opportunity to test them. So it was good in Mugello. Some of them they were positive, some of them they were negative. So it's good to know, and as much as information you have is better for the preparation of the next Grand Prix. So. Obviously, we arrive more prepared now than what we arrived in Australia with only 3 tests in winter. But to make faster the car, I think in terms of setup, you cannot find much. If you want to be running at the front, so it's more aerodynamic parts and updates in the car that hopefully they come. But we need to wait.
You know this circuit pretty well. You had a very good start to the race last year. Do you think we're going to see more overtaking on this circuit now with more curves and a DRS as well, longer DRS?
I think it will be similar to last year, to be honest. I saw some numbers of previous races here, on average like 4 or 5 overtaking maneuvers in the last 9 years, and last year they were 57. So it was a big change, and I think the race this year will be similar to last year, because the degradation, because the DRS and the curves. So with all the possibilities we have now, as we had last year, for sure we will see some more overtakings, and this changed also a little bit the philosophy of this circuit. That, as Kimi said, now pole position was 60% of the victory. Now pole position is obviously the best starting position, but it's not crucial anymore because with this year's tires, etc., it's less important.
Okay, thanks very much. Sebastian, of course, you broke the mould last year by winning from second on the grid, where you've started for the last 3 years, but you won last year from there. This is such a performance track. Is this a track that you're really looking for, what can we say, an indicator for, say, the rest of the first half of the season? If you're competitive here, you will be elsewhere.
Well, I think if you are competitive here, it also means that you have been competitive previously. So it's a track that we usually know quite a lot from winter testing. We have some data to compare to. So it's very familiar, but it doesn't mean that, you know, if you're competitive here, you are competitive everywhere else, or if you're not competitive here, you will never be competitive. So I think it's similar to other tracks. You know, really, if you think which sector you're talking about, which speed range of the car. So I think you have sectors on every track where, you know, you could get an indication. But as I said, I think it's more the fact that we know a lot about this track with a lot of data to compare against, and to see, you know, whether we did a step forward compared to the winter and how big the step was. Surely then, you know, you have to consider different temperatures. It's a different time of year, so it's also difficult to, you know, compare black and white. But yeah, I think as a rule of thumb, probably this circuit does give you an idea, because simply you have all the corners that you find somewhere else. You have tight chicanes like in the last sector, hard braking, like braking for the hairpin, fast corners like in the first sector. So yeah, a bit of everything.
And yet everyone has been here. Everyone knows exactly what sort of setup they would require. So it's perhaps one of the toughest races in that respect.
Yeah, it is. But as I said as well, you know, the fact that you race here in May is quite different if you look at the temperatures compared to February or March. So yeah, you know, it does have quite a big change on the car, on the setup. So whatever you might have found out over the winter, the testing, might not work the same way or the same style it did during testing. Also, you need to consider that the cars, you know, you launch are quite different to the cars you race at the first race, and then, you know, you race around May or June later on in the season. So yeah, it's a bit wishy-washy because of that, but overall I think it's a track that we know fairly well. You know, from a driving point of view, we've done a lot of laps here, so we should know our way around here.
Indeed. Okay, thanks very much. Some questions from the floor, please. Raise a hand if you would. Yeah, all the way down the end there. Yeah, thank you.
It's a question for Pedro and Fernando about the Spanish Grand Prix in general, because here and there we read about the difficult situation in Valencia, the difficult situation in Barcelona, and now we have 2 Grand Prix, but on the worst situation we will finish with no Grand Prix at all. So your thought about it?
Well, I mean, I've said already since the first time that we were told that Spain would have 2 Grand Prix, that this was a historical moment and a very unique situation, and we should be very, very proud of it. And that's, I still say the same scenario, you know, the same answer. We still have 2 Grand Prix in Spain this year, and we should all of us be very proud, very happy, maximize this moment, and then wait for the future to tell us what will happen, which is completely out of our hands. You know, I mean, this is all I can say. But as I've said, I'm very, very happy to be here. This is a Spanish Grand Prix, but also a Spanish Grand Prix with a Spanish team, a Spanish driver in the Spanish team. So, you know, let's forget about what can happen in the future, because as I've said, I have absolutely no control over it.
Same.
Nothing to add. Michael, George, just, yeah.
Gracias, tío. ¿Estás de acuerdo?
Gentlemen, Michael Schumacher persistently criticises the Pirelli tyres, or at least the policy of Pirelli. To us and the fans, it's clear that Pirelli has been a major ingredient in the improvement of the quality of the racing this year and last year. Do any of you share Michael's concerns about the tyres, or do you think he's just making excuses for not winning?
Who'd like to start with this one?
Nobody answers. I think Seb, being German.
Yeah. So, well, I think we get a completely different impression inside the car than you might get outside the car. So you're always talking of two different worlds, and I think for us, quality of racing is, if you compare racing today, you have to, I think, look after your tires much more than probably you had to 3, 4, 5 years ago. So for us, if you take, for instance, I don't know, 2009, where we were allowed to refuel, we had new tires, and the tires lasted longer, as in they didn't see that much degradation. It's a different quality inside the car because you can push nearly every lap very similar to qualifying, whereas now I think the racing is different. We fuel the cars up, the cars are much heavier. If you have a heavier car, it's it's more stress for the tires, so it puts the whole thing in a different window. I think if you put a new set of tires on 20 laps to go or 15 laps to go, which is, let's say, the stint length you had earlier a couple of years ago, it's a different world for the tires, but the tires do see more degradation, and then we start to slide, and then one guy slides more than the other just because he puts his tires 2 laps later on or 2 laps earlier, and then that creates a different type of racing, more overtaking, which is more I would imagine seen as a better quality from the outside, because simply things happen. So I think it depends what you really want. So in that regard, we have more overtaking, like Fernando is good with numbers, like Fernando said earlier. So I think the races today, to be honest, last year, the last 2 years, since we have changed a couple of things, has become much better. Also for us, I had a race here where I was following for, how many laps is it in the race? 66 laps near. There was, I think, 60 laps out of that. I was following Felipe and I couldn't pass. So nowadays, that your chance, will come in the race, and that's changing. It's changing the position inside the car as well.
Fernando, do you agree with that?
Nico is German as well.
He hasn't got the same experience as you. Nico, do you want to talk? No, letting you do it. No.
I don't know. I agree with Seb, but I think I don't agree that Michael continually criticizes Pirelli. Michael said one thing, and what has been written in the press is maybe exaggerated, what he said. Because I read what he said, and I don't see any big problem on that.
Anybody, anything to add? Anybody else? No. Oh. Okay. Another question.
Question to Fernando. As far as you know, you have a very different car from this race. Let's suppose that this car does not correspond to your expectative.
We see. We see after the race, because we don't know what car we have, because obviously we have new parts, but we heard everybody has new parts. But because it's Ferrari, it's quite a lot of expectations every race we go. It seems like only Ferrari is bringing new parts. So we have a step forward, we believe, on what we had in Bahrain. But we also know that it's not the last step we have to do. It's a continuous work that we need to start here in Barcelona, doing a step forward and try to improve our qualifying position and our race pace. But in Monaco we have to bring new parts. In Canada, bring new parts. So we will not bring a new car every race, as it seems that we brought here in Barcelona.
But just to finish the question, is if the car does not correspond
I answered you on Sunday.
No, yes, but just to finish it. Considering that your car has completely new ideas, a revolutionary car, do you think can be the end of the season to Ferrari? You start thinking the next year car?
I don't think so. Don't think so. We need to see how the car works here, and if it works fine, will be a good step. The first step of many that we have to do, as I said, during the next couple of races. If the step is not good enough, because the others they did improve the same or more than us, so we remain in the same position, we need to work harder for Monaco and for Canada, and bring more new parts and in a more aggressive approach or whatever, because the championship is long, and we will never give up. You know, in May, you know, after 4 races.
Do you think the base of this car can be used for the next year's car?
I think so. Yeah.
Gary, up here. Thank you.
Question for all 6 guys. If you look at the driver field from 1992, there were only 2 non-European countries represented. If you look at the same field 20 years later, this year, there are 7 non-European countries represented. Is there a chance in a few more years the majority of drivers will come from outside Europe? And how do you think that's going to impact the sport?
Can we? Yes, let's start with the non-European. Can we?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's difficult to say yet. Yeah, I mean, it's for driver. I think it's very difficult to develop me everywhere. I think Asia especially. But I don't know for the future. But at the moment, I don't know how many European. How many European now?
How many European was it?
17.
17.
17. Right.
Quite a lot. Yeah, I mean, we have to see. I mean, it's very important for the program to develop the driver. I think at the moment, I think this program is quite weak everywhere. So I think for the future, definitely have to working on. And yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to find how a young driver coming to Formula One. So I don't know for the future how can be changed, but definitely I think we have to work like program to develop the driver. Yeah.
Nico, huge German presence obviously on the grid as well. Is that going to? Can you see that being maintained with your young driver program in Germany?
Which young driver program? Is there one? I don't know. But you know, we don't keep track of that statistic. I think, for me, I think there will always be a good mixture between European and non-European drivers in the future.
Okay. Yeah. Andy Benson at the back there. Andy, here it comes.
For anyone, but Fernando and Sebastian maybe particularly, following the rulings in the 2 Nico Rosberg incidents in Bahrain, you were involved in one, Fernando obviously. Are you clear in terms of what's allowed and what isn't allowed when you come to defending your position?
Yes. No.
Has your understanding changed from before Bahrain to now then?
No, maybe I didn't.
I think Fernando made it pretty clear. He said you have to leave it the space. All the time you have to leave it the space.
Yes. Yes.
That was clear, though.
As I did last year with Sebastian in Monza. What?
Yes.
But that isn't what happened in Bahrain.
He just thought my car was slimmer, so.
But you pass.
I think the rule is clear. I mean, yeah, you can argue, I think there were 2 incidences with Nico in Bahrain. One with Fernando, and Fernando, I think, made his point clear afterwards. And with Lewis, I think Lewis got past. So, yeah, I think you can talk for hours now, but I think if you see the situation in Bahrain, it's exceptional because you have kind of asphalt runoff. Yes, it's pretty dirty, but yeah, we always try to go on the limit, the one who is overtaking, the one who is defending. Surely sometimes you need to, respect that the guy is there and you need to leave the space. So, yeah, I think if it would have been grass, then it would have been a different story. You know, you wouldn't go there in the first place, and yeah, in Fernando's case, I think he would have made the same point. So, yeah.
Some more questions? Any more? More questions? Yeah, gentleman here.
Sorry.
Can I have your name and publication, please?
Carlos Miquel, La Gaceta. Is a question for Fernando and for Pedro. If some fan of Formula One in Spain is thinking about come here on Sunday, what are your goals for the race? The goal of Fernando and the goal of Pedro.
Can you repeat the last part of the
goal.
question?
The goal.
The goal.
What can you offer to the people?
Well, I mean, from our point of view, we will, our goal is to fight and to improve from where we left it in Bahrain. And that's all we can offer. I mean, we can promise. We cannot promise victories. We leave that for Fernando. So, but we will promise that wherever we finish, we will do it with proudness of being here and doing a serious job, giving it all, and maximizing what we have.
Same thing. Yeah, and giving 100%. You know, we cannot promise anything. This is not a pure mathematic problem. You know, it's a sport. We all try to do our best. So we will work hard. We will take care of every detail this weekend as we do normally, trying to do a serious job and hopefully, finishing in the best position possible. But you cannot promise anything.
Okay, any more? Yes, Alan Baldwin back here.
Just a quick question about it being the first race back in Europe. Just leaving aside whether or not it's a home race for you guys, how much of a difference does it actually make for you to be back in Europe again?
For who? Everybody?
Kimi, you actually don't like the travelling very much, do you, out of Europe?
Yeah, but I came to China Thursday morning, so for me it makes no difference really.
So your feelings, Nico, Kamui, Pedro?
Well, I mean, I think that I'm biased at this, answering this question because it's back to Europe, but especially it's back to Spain. So for us, it's a Grand Prix that I must admit it arrives a little bit too early in our development program because we have been improving since Australia, but we probably need more Grand Prix to offer a more competitive show to our fans. That's the only downside. But nevertheless, we are here. We are in Spain. It's our home ground, and we are very happy to be here. I'm looking forward to it. I used to live 10 minutes away from the track, and this is something that when you grow up, you can listen to the engines of the Formula One cars when you wake up every morning during the weekends, and for me, it's a very special event. Absolutely.
Can we not so easy commuting from Japan?
Yeah, for sure. Here. But, used to be here a lot of time. I came like 17 years old in Europe and racing a lot of time in Barcelona. So, after a long trip out of Europe and back to Europe with Formula One, it's always great, and especially always nice to see the motorhome in Barcelona. And this time, this is always great. And I feel like back to Europe and like home for Formula One.
Sebastian, what does it mean for the team, for Red Bull, to be back here?
Well, I think for all of us, we are very happy to race in Europe. So surely we have races overseas which we enjoy. I think we all love, for instance, going to Australia. Yes, it's a long trip, but once we're there, I think we all enjoy being there, and that's the same here. In the end, I don't think it makes a difference how long you travel. Yes, it is more convenient, if you're only for an hour and a half, or 2 hours on the plane rather than 12, and then another 12. But yeah, as I said, I think every country we go, there is a strong culture for motorsport. We hope for a lot of excitement, for a lot of people to come, and makes us, feel very special when we are on the grid, see that the grandstand is packed. And usually around here, I think there's a lot of fans coming, cheering, especially for Fernando and the Spanish drivers. But, it's the same when we go, I don't know, to Silverstone they are cheering for their drivers. So I think we can be very happy everywhere we go, and hopefully put a great show up so that the people enjoy as well, and they come back next year.
Okay, one more. Anybody else? One more? Yeah, one more there.
So, gentlemen, for all of us, after the testing in Mugello, Vitaly Petrov was highly criticized because he expressed a concern about the safety. So do you think he was wrong to express a concern like this?
Your thoughts about Mugello as a circuit, and particularly Petrov criticised the safety, did he? Okay. Yeah.
No. He was criticized by another drivers because he expressed a concern. So if he is wrong,
Was he wrong? What were your feelings? Kimi wasn't there. Pedro wasn't there.
Easy.
So it's down to the other four.
I think everyone will have his opinion, so I'm not anyone to say if Vitaly is right or wrong. It's more maybe your job or the Commission of Safety or whatever. Personally, everyone will have the opinion. As I said, I like Mugello. I like the layout. I like the feelings, the emotions that you had driving there. As I said, after the test, driving one lap in Mugello is like driving 100 in another circuit for adrenaline and how much you enjoy the lap. And we were in Italy, a lot of Ferrari support, so I enjoy so much the 3 days testing. But in terms of how safe is the track or no, I don't have all the information to give an answer.
Nico, your thoughts?
I think personally I enjoyed Mugello very much. I think it's a very different circuit to all the others we go to. You feel like you're flying almost there, a lot of 4th, 5th, 6th gear action, which is great to have, and I think, like Fernando said, it's a very personal thing, whether you feel safe or not, but I think it was okay.
Can we?
Yeah, for track, that's a great circuit. Now, this time there's a lot of circuit with very safe, which is like Abu Dhabi or everything without gravel. But this circuit, we're back to like gravel. If we mistake, we end up in the gravel, which is it's good for driver and I think good for training to to test, And that always the test is something we have to try. And really good challenge. And in the race, of course, we have to stay in the track, and it still could take something really a lot of risk. But during test, we can take more risk to improve driving. It's great for me.
Okay, thank you, Sebastian. Your last word.
Well, I think first time I heard that he was saying something about the safety in Mugello, I think we all love the track because it's different. Like Nico said, there's a lot of high-speed corners. Surely, if the speeds are high, then there's higher risk. There is obviously quite a lot of runoff, but surely there you would like to have more. As long as nothing happens, everything is fine. If something happens, then it's always easy to come after something after there was an incident and say this and that. But I think we were all. It was not as if we felt we were scared, so we left the garage, I think, feeling safe. So I think if we would race there one day, potentially yes or no, then surely here or there you can argue, to make improvements for safety. But I think they did everything they could on the day. So
just the very last one.
Nico mentioned that Mugello is different from every other track that you guys race during the year. So does this very fact make it less useful to have tested there instead of somewhere else?
Yes.
Any opinion on that? Anyone?
Difficult. Maybe I think it's not really useful for the mechanical stuff, but definitely useful for the aero at least, because the aero is even on the straight we can do some tests. You could see the stability in the corner, but basically always I think Formula 1 chance to drive. I think this is good test. Let's say. Yeah.
I agree. I think it's good to test some parts of the car. Not good for some others, but like all the other circuits. When we test in Jerez, when we test in Barcelona, you try different things. I remember in the all days testing in Paul Ricard, sometimes we test in one circuit that was 50 seconds the lap, because we tested for Monaco Grand Prix, different tires and different parts, so every test is welcome for different areas of the car, but is good. And people that don't like Mugello is very easy solution.
Okay, well, on that, we will leave it. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you.